YouTube fam, what is up? So in this video, we're going to talk about how do you actually virtually wholesale. So I've been getting these questions a lot since I launched my new book called The Secret to Wholesaling Real Estate Completely Virtual. All you need is a laptop, a phone, and internet, and you can do this from anywhere in the world. So this is what allows me and my wife to go back to Vietnam for like a month plus, and we're still be able to wholesale here in the States. It's because we have process, we have system, we have teams, everything in place. But I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, whether you're one man or one woman show, all right? Whether you're doing it alone or you have a team, it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to show you how to wholesale completely virtual, okay? So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to show your boy King Khang some love. Boom, smash that thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the family. So be sure to, boom, smash that subscribe button. And if you have any questions, come in the chat. And let's rock and roll. So for those of you, my whole thing about virtual wholesaling is before you trying to go into a different city or different states, I think the best thing you need to do is actually focus on your own backyard, because you're going to know your states, your city way better than any other, city states that you have never been to. Now, virtual mean that it doesn't mean that you have to go into a different states to consider that you're wholesaling houses virtually. Virtual wholesaling just means that you never have to meet the seller. You never have to see the property. So whether that property is 15 minutes away from you or 26,000 miles away from you, as long as you don't meet the seller, you don't see the property, my friend, you are doing it virtually. So for me, I dominate my own states, but we don't meet the seller. We don't see the property. I have all of my VAs get the list, pull the list, skip trace. We're sending direct mail. We're doing PPC. Right? And we're contacting, they're talking to the seller, negotiating. Everything is happened all through the phone, and all the documents that you sent to and get the seller to sign contract, all of those can all be online. So the first thing I need you to understand is I want you to focus on your local market first, okay? But you don't have to go meet the seller or see the property. And this is how it works. So typically how we lock the seller up. So let me give you a little tip here. So let's just say that when you and the seller start talking about the pricing, and this is where a lot of you don't know how to lock the seller up over the phone. Because let's just say you and the seller go back and forth on price. And the next step, which I think a lot of you do, is you want to set an appointment to go out to meet the seller. The reason why you do that, my friend, is because you don't have to close them over the phone. So let me give you exactly how to do that. So let's just say, So let's just say that the seller, you talk to the seller and say, seller's like, hey, I want $100,000. You and the seller went back and forth on the price. And then you finally come to an agreement somewhere, let's just say $90,000, right? So here's what you do. So when the seller tells you, hey, I want $100,000 for my property, you go through the negotiating with the seller. And then before you mention your final number or you're about to accept their offer, this is what you say, my friend. All you need to simply say is, hey, Bob, if I can get the price of $90,000 approved, are you ready to get the paperwork done and sell your property? That's it. That's all you have to say, my friend. You don't have to say, oh, well, I think we need to go out there and look at the property. Okay? That's all you need to say. And you need the seller to say, yes, if you can get that price approved, I'm ready to go. And a lot of you, when I post my recorded call with a seller, a lot of you say, well, Khang, why do you always negotiate like you're not the person, like you having to get approval? The reason why, my friend, is because it makes the negotiating a lot better. And the seller feels like you're working on their behalf, not against them. So they don't feel like you're trying to get them to come down to the lowest for you, right? So they felt like when I say, hey, Bob, if I can get the $90,000 approved with my team manager or my company or my partner, however you want to say it, are you ready to go? Now this, my friend, puts you in a very strong position, because you know why? You know how when you mention a number and a seller said, hey, I want to think about it, or I want to talk to my husband or my wife or whatever it is. Well, guess what? You're now in that position where they have to wait for your response. And that's what you want, my friend. So they need to give you the commitment. Okay, so they'd be like, yep, if you can get that price approved, boom, then I'm ready to go. That's when you got them. Okay, the next step is a lot of you say, well, Khang, how do you go, like, how do you set up showing when you don't go to the property? So here's the next one. If you're going to do it virtually, you need to start building a team. So you need to get, so a lot of you say, well, Khang, how do we get pictures from the property? First, let's go through this. How do you get pictures from the property? Very easy. One is you can get the seller to send it to you. Majority of the time, the seller will send it to you. But let's just say the property is rented. Well, you can ask the seller, can the renter send the picture to you? And a lot of times, if you have renter that are being an ass, but don't want to send the picture, guess what, my friend? Money talks, bullshit walk. And I'm not saying this pulling junk out of my ass, man. We do this all the time. And then we'll like, hey, can we get your renter phone number? You text the renter, call the renter up. Hey, if you can send us some extra interior the pictures, man, we'll PayPal you, Cash App you, Venmo you, $50. Dude, they'll do it in a heartbeat. How many of them make $50 in like 10 minutes? None. So money talks, bullshit walk. So get the renter to send it to you. Now, let's just say that the property's vacant. Now, if the property's vacant, how do you get pictures of the property? Well, guess what, my friend? What you need is you need foot on the ground, man. So this is where you need to have a team. Okay, so in any city, any states, it's not that hard to get foot on the ground. All you need to do is join the local RIA, right? Join the local REIA. Just join the local RIA, man, and connect with other wholesalers, other investors, realtors, and pay them, dude. Pay them. Once again, dude, $50. Just drive out there, take some pictures, send it over to you. But once again, these foot on the ground, these are where you have to really build relationships. Okay? So sometimes it could cost $100 just for them to go out there and send you pictures. Now, let me give you a company that you can bypass. So let's just say that you haven't built any connections in that city. Well, there's a website called WeGoLook.com. They will charge you, I think, about $119. It could be more, $119. Go out there, get pictures, get video, all of that for you. They will actually even do an inspection for you. Because a lot of you be like, well, Khang, so do I need to get the inspection or does the buyer? I will explain that. But they will also go and actually do an inspection for you. I think for the inspection, it costs like $160. It'll come up with the whole entire report. So WeGoLook.com is a company for real estate investors. They're almost like Uber. So they have it in any city, any states. They have people that's on the ground that's just ready to go. But the problem with them is that they only work with LLC. So if you don't have a company, they're not going to work with you. They're not going to work with independent contractor. They're not going to work with an individual. So you need to have an LLC for them to work with you. Okay, so I'm going to slow down. I'm going to take some questions, and then I'm going to tell you guys the next step here. Now, before I go into that, if you haven't grabbed my book, I literally took 12 years of my knowledge and experience. I've been in the real estate game. I've been in the real estate game for the past 10 plus years, over 1,000 YouTube video. And I work extremely hard with my ghostwriter to jam pack as much information, as much knowledge into this book for you as possible to help you close your first wholesale deal completely virtual. Any chapter you flip through, it doesn't matter. Look, I also show you chapter 4, how to make offer. Okay. Chapter 5, how to negotiate like a pro. Like I cut out all the BS and just put the tips, the tricks, the secrets, the hack, the knowledge, the information that you need. That's why I jam pack everything down to 43 pages. It's a quick read and it gives you everything that you need to get rocking and rolling and closing your first deal. So if you want to grab a copy, just go to WTMbook.com. The info's there. The choice is yours. All I ask, if you have Kindle, you can download it for free. All I ask for is if you can drop me a review on Amazon, it will mean the world to me. That's it. That's all I ask for. So I'm going to take a couple questions, then we're going to bounce back here. Khang, do you get pictures first then you sign the agreement, or the opposite. Beck, you do not want to put in any work until you got the contract. A lot of you spend too much time doing the research on the property, all right, figuring everything out. If you don't have if you don't have a signed contract with a seller, my friend, you don't have anything. So don't waste too much time. Until you got a contract in your hand, that's when you actually have a deal. That's when you spend more time on it. So get any seller you talk to, get that contract signed before you do spend more time on it, okay? Questions. What, Andre said, what are you doing to get reliable boots on the ground and property photographer? I just explained that already. Connect with other wholesaler, realtors. Maybe you have friends or family or relative or somebody in the area. But let me answer this question, and then then I'll talk about how do you set up showing between the seller, the buyer, and all that when you do it virtually. I'm trying to go fast because we got about 15 minutes left. Can you explain what we should do after we close the contract with the seller? Are there any fees we have to put down for the seller? Ty, good question. So let me explain, Ty. So I'm going to answer this question. We're going to jump back to how do we set up showing, because a lot of you are confused because obviously you're doing it virtually. So you don't know how it's going to work. So what I want to tell you is that don't overthink. It's actually very simple. Just don't overthink, my friend. All right. So let's just say, so here's the seller. Okay. So that's Mr. Seller. So you got the property in a contract for $100K. Okay. So here's the contract. Here's you. Okay. So let's just say that you got the property in a contract. Seller already signed. Ty, you don't have to pay anything. The only thing that you need, dude, is the EMD, which is the earnest money deposit. It could be as little, dude, as $10. And if you don't have $10, dude, any one of you, dude, just stick to the J-O, the B, because you honestly don't have what it takes. Dude, if you don't even have $10 to your name right now, bro, you can't even go get it, dude. Like, just unsubscribe. Okay, so the EMD is your earnest money with the seller. And all you need to do is you don't need to pay anything, Ty. You just take this and send it to a local title company. But I know some of you don't even send it to the title company because you have built the trust with the seller. So you just hold on to that contract until you found the cash buyer. But this is because you're unexperienced, you're new into the game, so you're scared and you're worried. You worry that you can't find, you worry that since you send the document into the title company, and what happened if you can't find a buyer? So you're scared. So that's why you're just holding on to the contract. And that's okay. If you're new, that's okay if you built really good rapport with the seller. But if you want to get system and process and everything in place, how it actually works is once you get an executed contract between you and the seller, you send that contract to the title company along with your earnest money deposit, which is whatever that amount is. For me, for us right now, it's every contract, we lock it up and we put $250 EMD. That's the earnest money deposit, automatically imprinted into the contract. Okay? So you take your earnest money, you deposit into the title company. Beside that, you don't pay anything else, Ty. You don't pay anything else. Everything else comes from your cash buyer. The closing costs, all the fees, everything like that is going to be paid by your cash buyer, not by you, okay? But that's how it works. It's that once you get the contract, how it should work, it goes to the title company. You send your earnest money deposit to the title company. Once you found the buyer, they will send their funds. You send the assignment contract into the title company. Now the title company got the purchase and sale agreement, and they also have your assignment agreement with the new buyer, and the title company will do the rest of the work. They'll reach out to the seller. They'll reach out to the buyer. Buyer's going to bring in, let's just say you got on a contract for 100 and you sell it to the buyer for 130K. Buyer's going to bring in the 130, 100,000 is going to go to the seller. 30K left over is going to go to you. And obviously there's closing costs and all the fees on top of that, which the buyer's going to be paying for. Make sense? Boom. Okay, so Okay, now let's talk about setting up showing. Now, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Thread, IG, all of that, just go to @RealKingKong and hit me up on there. If you have any questions, you can DM me or you can text me. Actually, you can also text me. Hold on a second here. Text me to 1-206-208-0676. Okay, so now let's just talk about, I'm going to talk about setting up showing. So how do we set up showing? So now you get a seller. Now you get the seller. Okay, here's the seller. Here's you. Okay. And then here's the buyer. Okay. And then here's the property. So here is how you set up your showing. So what you need is you need foot on the ground. Okay, so you need someone that's going to be there on behalf of your company. So this, my friend, is your foot on the ground. Foot on the ground person. This person is I call them the facilitator. So their job is to go to the property that you have already arranged a time and a date. The seller's probably going to be there. The buyer's going to show up. And your foot on the ground, your facilitator, their job is to make sure that the buyer and the seller do not discuss price. They're there on behalf of your company. And here's how you prep everything up. You need to tell the seller that, hey, my contractor or my inspector is going to be there. They're going to do a quick inspection on the property just to make sure, we get, all of our X and O or crosses and everything checked. They're going to be quick in and out of the property. Please just, if you could just let them do their thing, they'll be in and out there very quick. So you prep the seller up so they know that your contractor, your inspector is going to be there. On the buyer side, you also need to prep your buyer up and let them know they are going to be there on behalf of your company to do an inspection on the property, obviously, right? So they're there representing as a contractor, and you need to let them know that, hey, my facilitator, John, is going to be there on behalf of our company to make sure that, if you have any questions, that he can answer it. Please be professional and don't discuss pricing with the seller. If you have any questions about the property, you can ask. If you have any pricing, that you can talk to us afterward. Make sense? So you prep your seller, you qualify your buyer, you prep your buyer up, and then boom, you have your facilitator there to show the property. And some of you will be like, well, Khang, how much do you pay this person? Typically, dude, it shouldn't take more than 1 hour max. It should be like a 30 minutes in and out. And depending on how far the location is, but typically I pay them between $100 to $150. Because who makes $100, $150 in 30 minutes or an hour? Who? Not many people. So if you're able to pay them $100, $150, and they just need to show up and be there at the property for an hour and get $100, dude, a lot of them will be like, dude, this is a no-brainer. So that's how you set up showing. Okay. So Steve, question is, how much are you spending on VAs every month to automate everything? Steve, good questions. So here's how it works. So for those of you who don't know, I've been virtually wholesaling for the past 5.5, 6 years. We make about 6-figure a month, and I spend only 1 hour on my wholesaling business a day. That's what allowed me to obviously have time to create content and build my own personal brand. So I'm going to share with you. Now, listen, this did not happen overnight, okay? This took me years and years and years to put all the systems, the systems, the tools, the software, the teams together. So I'm going to break it down for you really, really quick and very, very simple. Because at the beginning, I overcomplicated things. But I want you to understand it also takes time. But here's something I want to add is that a lot of times you need to take a step back, because let's just say for those of you who have already done some deals already, and now you're looking to scale, automate, and escape your wholesaling business, I'm just telling you right now, sometimes it takes you to take a step back, which means you're not going to be growing like at the pace that you want. But taking that step back, because sometimes it takes longer, dude, to put the setup. Okay, so it takes way longer for the setup and for the preparation than it is when you go and execute it. So it takes a long time to put the team together, the system together, the process, the automations. Like those are the boring things where you have to sit there and do, which takes a long time. But once you get all of those dialed in, and when you're ready to launch, when you're ready to execute, my friend, it will require less of your time, less of your effort, less work coming from you, because you have a foundation, you have a machine that is just ready to go. So you cannot rush when it comes to like building, because it takes a long time to build a pipeline. That's what people don't understand. Like the setup and the preparation is what takes the longest. For those of you who follow like Alex Hormozi, you know, he spent like a year and a half to prep for this, a year and a half or 2 years to prep for his book, and also for his live webinar. But he executed in 90 minutes. But it took him a year or 2 years to put all of those game plan, the teams, the systems, and everything together. Make sense? Okay. So first I got what's called a lead manager. So a lead manager, their job is to filter and qualify the lead. That's their job. They don't negotiate. They're either taking incoming call or they're making outbound call. But their job is to filter and qualify the lead. Man, these pens are out of ink. Let me open up a new one. Okay. Once you got a lead manager in place, I think the next position, it will be smart if you add in an admin. Now, an admin they don't need to be full-time. They can be a part-time admin. So what does an admin do? An admin will be responsible for all your daily tasks that you know you can hire anyone to do. Check your email, pull the list, skip trace the list, right? Answer any questions, right? And then they can just do this part-time. So they can go in there, check your email, pull the list, skip trace the list, and then send that list over to the lead manager, and then have the lead manager start calling. Those are easy. Anybody can do that. But once again, it takes time to set all of this up. So sometimes you need to take a step back from your business so you can go 10 to 20 steps forward. Now, once you got a lead manager, you got an admin in place. This right here, if you have this 2-person in your team, you would take back 6 to 8 hours of your day. Because we all know what takes the longest is filter, qualify the lead, digging through all the dirt to find the diamonds, right? Answering the phone, talking to the seller, because there's going to be a lot more unqualified seller than a motivated seller. So that you would buy back 6 to 8 hours of your life every single day, which allow you to focus on more of the important task. Now, the next position that you want to hire, after you got your lead manager, you got your admin, then the next one is called the transactional coordinator. And some of you will call this person the disposition. This is the person that once the property's under contract, their job is to, market the deal, to find the buyer, to talk to the seller, talk to the title company, to set the showing, the inspection. They do all of that. So their job as a transactional coordinator is to get that deal to the finish line. Because until it closed, dude, nothing is for sure. So their job is to get that deal sold and to the finish line. So in this meantime, you are still staying at the purchase manager, because the purchase manager is the most important position, one of the most important position in your company, because this is your closer. This is what you need, someone who can actually sales and actually close. This person is extremely important. So to me, typically this person is probably the last person that I would replace, because I need them to be a closer. And no one is going to be as good as me or you are on the phone, right? So you need them, the purchase manager. Now, all of this is not going to work without this one person. And I'm sorry, but I should have said this. But this is the one most important person in your company. And I think this person, you need to hire and you need to find them once you start having some money, once you start seeing success, once you start closing 1 or 2 deals per month. This is when you need to hire this person ASAP. This person is called the COO. This is your chief operations, okay? This is like your vice president. This is the person that's going to replace you, and they're going to run the entire business, the entire company on your behalf. This is the only person that you should talk to, and this is the only person that should report all the information to you. You should spend all your time training this person up, the CEO, to take over your position. That, when you have all of this, my friend, all of this missing link, you, my friend, have actually built a business, and you can actually now escape. Now, when I say escape, I don't mean like, you don't know anything about your business, because I believe that you always have to have a pulse on your business. You always need to know what's going on inside your business, who is doing what, where's the leads at. You need to know all of that. Okay, so you don't want to be completely out. But this right here, once you have this in, my friend, you should be making between 50K to 100K a month if you have all of this pieces in place. And that's when you'll be able to escape. Good? Okay, hold on a second. Let me check my phone. Lon just texted me, so I want to make sure. Okay, we're good? Any question you guys got? Lenny, let me see here. Lenny, did you reserve wholesaling where you didn't lock it up, risk getting it cut out before signing with the seller, and ask the buyer what they pay? Man, let me read this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you an invite. So for those of you, if you have a question you want to ask me personally, click on the link, turn on your camera, and you can join me live. Because, Lenny, I'm having a hard time understanding this question. Did you reverse wholesale where you didn't lock it up, risk getting cut out before signing the with the seller, and ask the buyer what they pay? Okay, Lenny, let me try to see if I can understand what you're trying to say. So basically what you're trying to say is you want to reverse wholesale. So for those of you who don't know what that means is, Lenny, I think this is what he's trying to say. So let's just say that he found a distressed property. Okay, but before he talks to the seller and try to lock that property on a contract, because he might not know if it's the right deal or not a deal because you're new, blah, blah, blah. So what Lenny's trying to say is, what if you talk to the buyer and ask the buyer what they would pay for this particular property in that particular area? The buyer doesn't need to know the exact property address, right? Because if you give them the address before you go and lock it on a contract, the buyer technically can go behind your back, contact. Oh boy. So Lenny, yes, you can do that. So if the buyer, yeah, you can get a price from the buyer and then go to the seller, negotiate, and then put that property in a contract, and then now you have a buy in place. If you're new into the game, yes, you can do that. That strategy does work. But now you're depending on that one buyer. Your whole goal, man, is to focus on finding deals, build up a large cash buyer list once you got the deal, and then just blast it out and have everybody fight over the deal. That's how you make the biggest assignment fee. Just have them fight over the deal. So you're not depending on one buyer. Make sense? What other questions here? Beck said, Khang, do you let title company do title search after EMD? It turns with the contract. If we backed out contract, do we pay title search fee? So typically, if you build a good relationship with that title company, they typically don't charge you for that. Okay? But yes, once you deposit, they're going to go ahead and start doing the title search and all of that. Unless you tell them, hey, you know what? Here's the contract. Please hold up on doing the title search, because you tell them, hey, right? Because they understand that you're going to do an assignment. Hey, we got an investors. We're going to try to sign this deal. So let me make sure that my partner or my is ready to go before we actually do that. So you can tell the title company to not do anything yet, but just to hold that there. Make sense? But typically when you turn everything in, they will start doing the title search and all of that. If the seller has an agent, do you recommend going for those seller. Julio, if the number makes sense. I've worked with sellers that have a realtors. I have worked with realtors that brings the deal to me, and they're before they list the property. That's called pocket listing. But as long as the number makes sense, it doesn't matter if the realtor is involved or not. But a lot of you will be like, well, Khang, how do we pay the realtor? Now that is a good question. So let me explain. It all comes down to, my friend, is negotiating. So typically, for those of you who don't know how this works, okay? So typically, let's just say a seller, okay? And then there's an agent involved. So there's a seller, okay? And there's the realtor, and then there's you. So how it works is that typically the seller will pay for the realtor commission, okay? But in this case, sometimes for you to make the deal work, you can tell the seller, tell the agent, hey, listen, we'll pay for the realtor commission. It really all but honestly, the real truth, it all comes down of the seller's proceed anyway. Because when you said, hey, I'm going to pay for the realtor commission, it just makes it sound good. Now, other real estate investor, wholesaler is not going to tell you this, but I will. Because I'm all about being transparent with you. I'm teaching you the game. Whether some of you think it's the right way to do it or the wrong way to do it, I don't really care. But then in this real world, it's just how business is, my friend. It's just how it works. So I'm not afraid of you judging me. I'm just giving you the information. That's how it works in the real world. I don't really care. So what happened is when you tell the agent, hey, tell the seller, I'll pay for the realtor commission. So if you know that if this property that you're going to get it under contract for $100,000, you know that you still got to pay the agent, 3 or 5% or 6%, whatever that is. You need to take that in consideration. So now you can't offer $100,000. You have to offer way lower because you will have to be responsible for the realtor commission. It just makes it sound better to the seller. But it still comes out of seller, whatever it is that your offer price is. Make sense? But typically, it's the seller that pays for the realtor commission. But everything in real estate, my friend, is negotiable. I have done a deal where realtor doesn't even get paid from the seller. The realtor didn't even get paid from me. What they care about is they care about getting the deal sold and then relisting the property. That's what they care about. It's getting it relisted. So instead of now making a 3% on $100,000, they'd be like, hey, if whoever buy this and list it back on the market for $250 and I get a 3% commission, it's a better deal for me. It's all negotiable. Nothing is set in stone, my friend. Everything in life, my friend, is negotiable. Do you mean the MOS or Craigslist third-party site? I don't know what you mean. Sorry, but I don't know what that question is. Caesar David said, how do you get an abandoned house under contract? Same as any other house, man. Get the property address, skip trace, find the owner, call them up, send them a letter, send them a postcard, whatever you need to do. Send them a text message, get them on the phone, put the property in a contract, and flip the contract. Here's the beauty about wholesaling that people don't understand. I just don't understand why people like to get into the... For those of you who don't know, I started my real estate career about 12 years ago. I started out as a fix and flipper, where I actually buy the property, fix it up, and flip it. Nightmare. It's a nightmare. I don't understand why you would want to risk your money. I don't know why you would want to deal with the contractor, babysitting contractor, dealing with the city, getting all the permit, waiting for 4 to 6 months to get paid. Once I discovered wholesaling, dude, I did not want to go back to fix and flip. It's a nightmare. It's too risky for a lot of you. I like to keep it simple. Why don't you just... So instead of thinking, hey, if I flip this property and I'm going to make $50K, dude, just wholesale it and make $25K. And you can make a wholesale deal. So you have to wait 4 to 6 months to get paid $50,000, and this is an unsure amount. You're not sure yet. All right, because once you buy the property, my friend, you could be you could be tying up $300,000. Whether it's your money, private or harmony, doesn't matter. You could be locking up $300,000, potentially make $50,000 in 4 to 6 months. But what happened if the market take a dump? What happened if you go in there and found out that there's more work that needed to be done? A lot of you, if you've never been in the game, you probably don't understand what I'm talking about. Only those who've been through it understand it. I've bought property, fix it, and then flip it, thinking that I'm gonna make $100,000. Guess how much I end up making, my friend? It took me over 1 year. I end up making $10,000. I mean, I still make money, which is good. Some people lose their butt. So I'm extremely grateful. But it took me over a year to make, because once we bought the property, we went in there, figured out, dude, it just needs way more than we anticipated. Once you open up the wall, dude, that's when nightmares screaming at you. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to take the guaranteed $25K now, because you can close a wholesale deal in 7 to 15 days. Why not? Guarantee, all it cost me is $250 to lock this property in a contract and make $25K. You see, sometimes you don't want to be greedy. Greed is going to get you sometime. That's why they say pigs get fed, hawks get slaughtered. Something like that. I might chop that, but something like that. So I would take the $25K, 7 to 10 days, no risk, only $250. By the time that it took you 4 to 6 months to flip the property, I could have closed another deal and made $25K with no headache, no stress. I'm probably sitting in Cancun and close this deal for $25K while you're running around with your head, while you're running around, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, dealing with the city, the contractor, the permit. Ask me how I know. I was that guy. I was the guy that waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, going to Home Depot, 6 o'clock, dealing with contractor, babysitting them, running down to the city, go to the job site, pick up the material, drop it off for the contractor. Dude, I was everywhere. While you're doing that, I could be sitting in Cancun, Mexico, close a wholesale deal for another $25K. No stress, no headaches, no risk, pretty much. Chris said, how can I get a cold call script training video on Friday? Chris, I don't know what you mean, bro. But if you guys are looking to, so there's 2 options. So you can go to my website, WTMFam.com. You can grab what's called the King Kong seller script. Okay. Or you can grab the book. Now in here, I share with you not all the entire negotiating, but I share with you enough to get you rocking and rolling. So chapter 5 is how to negotiate like a pro. I literally give you some other negotiating tactic tips that I use to get the seller to drop their price every single phone call. So if you want to grab the book, just go to WTMbook.com. So there it is. And you can download it for free on Kindle. All I ask for is if you can drop me a review on Amazon. It'll mean the world, because we're trying to get back to #1. But there you go. I got the book. Chris, you got the book already, dude, but did you drop me a review, bro? That's what I want to know. I want to test my script you on the cold call. Okay, let's jump on, dude. So Chris, we're going to do this, and then we're going to call this a wrap. So here's what I'm going to do, Chris. I'm going to put my link in here. So turn your camera on, jump on, and let's do a cold call role play. And we're going to call this a day. Who else want to jump on? Because I haven't done a cold call role play in a long time. So if you guys want me to bring that back, comment in the chat and let me know. So Chris, do you see the link? All you need to do is click on that link right there, bro, and join me live. Now, if you don't want to show your face, then, man, how am I going to do this? Then type in your phone number. So, Chris, I'm gonna give you like 2 more minutes, man. And if you're not gonna jump on, dude, then I'm gonna shut down. Oh, there you are. Okay,
Oh,
Chris, what up, dude?
how you doing, man?
Good, good. Hey, I appreciate that you taking time to jump on to do this, bro.
Dude, I absolutely appreciate you getting right into it, man. I was like, holy crap, right now? Okay.
Yeah, let's rock and roll, bro.
Heck yeah.
So, are you ready?
Um, as I'll ever be.
Okay, got it. Good, man. You just got to be ready, dude.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, my name is Chris McCaskill. How can I help you?
Yeah. Hey. I got a letter here about you guys say you guys want to buy my property. What's this
Y-
all about?
Yeah, thanks for reaching out to our mail piece. I actually sent out several in the area to a bunch of qualified property owners. May I ask what address the mail piece went to?
Well, I mean, you sent me the letter, and now you're telling me that you don't know the property address.
Yeah, yes, I understand. I actually sent out several of these letters to several other properties in your area. These are just a whole bunch of different properties in which my investors are looking to take on a bunch of projects. I was wondering, do you have a property in which you were looking to sell?
So why do you choose mine?
I've just been given a list of a bunch of qualified property owners that, might be looking to sell their property, and I was hoping to help you get in touch with one of my investors that might be looking to take over. If you got a property, I'd love to get that address.
Well, I mean, how do you know that I'm looking to sell? I never market my property or anything like that.
Oh, absolutely, I understand. My job here is to just basically gather up information to see if you are wanting to sell. I want to I'm sorry, right there, that question
Yeah, no,
right there.
dude, Chris. So far, so good, man. So how I respond to that is I say, hey, listen, I don't know. I don't know if you want to sell or not. I appreciate that you're giving us a call. Now you got to distract them and take them back, right? And I
Hmm.
would say, hey, I appreciate that you're giving us a call. I understand that you got a letter from us saying that we're interested in buying your property. All I want to know from you is I don't want to waste your time or our time. Are you interested, or do you have a property that you're interested in selling or getting a free, no risk, no obligation cash offer from us? Boom.
Okay, so
So
essentially, yeah, I don't know. I just want to make. I just So I don't know. I sent out the letters to
yep.
see if I can get a hold of somebody if they have a property that they are looking to sell. I have a bunch of investors looking to do 3 to 5 more deals in your area this month. Do you possibly have a property that you are willing to sell?
Well, I mean, anything is for sale if the price is right. So
Oh,
what's your offer?
absolutely, I understand. Before I go ahead and get into numbers, I wanted to know, is this a good time to talk? Do we do we need to schedule this for like 10, 20 minutes from now? Like, this is a good time to talk for you?
So, Chris, I mean, right there, man. Because
Hmm.
if you say that, then you might lose control of the phone. Like they'll be like, "Yeah, call me back," or because, dude, it's hard to get
Right,
people on the phone. So
right.
once you get them on the phone, dude, trying to do whatever you can to keep them on the phone. So I would say, hey, do you got a few minutes so we can go through this so I can make you a fair and intelligent cash offer?
Right.
They'll be like, okay, yes, I do.
Okay, absolutely. Can I ask who it is I have the pleasure of speaking with today?
Yeah, Khang.
All right. And is this the best number to reach you at? And if we get disconnected?
Yes, it is.
All right. Can I get that, getting right down into the nitty gritty, can I get that property address so I can start filling out a little file on you? Or a little file on the property, I should say?
Uh, you know, there's a lot of scam that's going around. I just don't want to get scammed. So I'm very kind of weary about this phone call.
Okay, absolutely. I understand. Again, my purpose is to essentially just reach out, see if you got anything that just essentially get some information on the property that you may or may not be looking to sell,
Okay,
and hopefully reach out with a bunch of qualified investors in the area that would be looking to take on the
okay,
deal.
Chris. So, dude, how I would handle this
Yep.
is because a lot of time when people say that, dude, they probably have their guard up, so they are worried and they are concerned. So I would say something like this. I would say, hey, I understand your concern, and if I were you, I would be worried if someone was scamming as well, because my parents has these kind of phone call from different company, telemarketer, and all of that. I understand where you're coming from, and funny story is that I was given a list to call, and actually my parent was one of them that I actually called. Right? So see that so you can laugh. My parent was one of them that I actually had to call to see if they wanted to sell their property. So I understand where you're coming from, but I want to let you know that we are a legit company. All right. I work with a group of investors, and we buy a ton of property every single year, or every single, well, however you want to say it. All right.
Right.
And I do want to let you know that we are going to use a local title company to close on this transaction. It's not like you sign a paper, we come and take your house, and we give you the cash. It's nothing like that, because we don't want to get scammed either. Right. We have people that calls in. So now, Chris, what you want to do is you want to flip the script. You want them to feel like they might be scamming you, or you might be the one who gets scammed. So you want to flip the script, and you want to be like, say, we have people that calls in. They don't even own the property, and they trying to sell the property, and we have gotten to the point where we actually got the property in the contract. We went through the title company. We pay a bunch of fees, and then we find out that they were not even the owner of the property, and it cost us thousands of dollars. So I understand your concern. I don't want you to be scammed. I don't want to, I don't want to be scammed either. So I want to let you know up front that we are a legit company. We do a ton of these deals every single year. All right. My whole goal here is to make sure that if we can provide a service for you with us, is that, our investor, we're willing to buy the property as is, quick closing and all of that. No realtor commission you have to pay, and then you get to make a decision if you want to sell the property or not after a conversation is over. No pressure, no risk, no obligation that you have to make on your behalf until you feel like that you are ready to move.
Okay. So, so I absolutely understand the whole worry behind it. Oh my goodness, is this a scam? Because there are so many telemarketers out there that do indeed do scams like this, and I just want to assure you that we are not one of those companies. We actually make sure to hold everything to the highest, most of standards when it comes to these transactions, which means we're making sure that we're in contact with title companies through the entire process to make sure that everybody's money is being placed accordingly, and we're taking measures to I'm sorry. Yep, that one right there. I just need to work on it.
Sure. Yep. Okay. Let's keep moving forward, Chris.
Okay. Can I get that property address from you real quick?
Yeah, it's 123 Apple Street.
All right, 123 Apple Street. And can I ask how many beds and bathrooms this property has?
I mean, you can find all those information online. I'm not sure why you need to ask.
I'm just asking in case there's any inaccurate information online. So if I look up the 123 Apple Street right here, I can kind of see, yes, it gives me a general overview, but I don't know if this information is accurate per se. So that's why I'm asking you. Do you know how many beds and bathrooms this property has?
Chris, that was a good comeback. I would like to add in that. It's just saying, hey, we want to get accurate information so that way my company can give you a fair and intelligent offer. We don't want to make you an offer on what's online, a 2-bedroom, when your house is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, which worth more.
Right. Okay.
Got it. Yeah, it is. It is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath.
Okay, absolutely. And can I ask how many square feet is the property?
It's about 1,500.
Okay. And do you have any add-ons or possibly a garage?
Has a 2-car garage, detached.
Okay. And how long have you owned this property?
Gosh, probably over 10 years.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And at any point in that last 10 years, have you lived there yourself?
Yes, I'm living in there right now.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Can I ask just what shape the roof is in? If it's in need of any repair that you're aware of? I'm sorry, give me a second.
Yeah.
Can you get your butt out of the street? No, 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 no. Why are you in the street? Sorry, my daughter just ran out. She ran into the
Oh,
street.
okay.
What are you doing?
So Chris, just because I got some come up, man. So
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
gonna end the live here, man. But I appreciate you jumping on, dude. I think there's a lot of value here for everybody. Appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely. Right now I'm just kind of stuck in the position where I got to go find a gosh dang job so that way I can get myself invested and get in this wholesale to millionaire course so that way I can start making accurate decisions. Because as much as I want to do this on the free end and then take that and funnel it into investing in it,
Okay, so
who knows how long that's going to take.
Hold on, Chris. You're telling me right now that you don't have a JO to B.
No, I've been unemployed for going on 8 months now. I've been a stay-at-home dad. My fiance has been a stay-at-home mom for the last 3.5 years, and she told me that after I lost my job at FedEx, that she was like, yeah, you stay home, you take care of the kid, and let me go find a job. So she's been out working, and now here I have been a bum, and I couldn't be more honestly humiliated over it because the roles are reversed, and I mean she's happy with it. She doesn't have an issue with it. I have an issue with it. It hurts my pride.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I didn't learn about this until literally last month. And in the last month and a half, I've learned so much information.
Good.
That I've been essentially on my hands and knees asking my family, can you please help me get into this? But it comes down to ain't nobody gonna help you but yourself. Correct. So that's what it is. I gotta go out, get a job, finance this through that job, so that way eventually I can leave that job and make this full time, because this is what I want to do. Had I known this 6 months ago when I had money to invest in this before my funds ran out, but I probably could have been a heck of a lot further now.
Yeah.
But I am where I am, and speaking of FedEx.
Yeah. Well, Chris, first off, man,
I'm sorry.
First off, I want to say that I respect that, that you come on, man, and being honest and saying how it is. If I were you, dude, I like how you take responsibilities and not making excuses, because I hate people who make excuses, dude. And to me, I feel where you're coming from, because I was brought up in a family as a man. You're supposed to be the household, you're supposed to be like the foundation for the house. You know what I'm talking about? To take care of your families, your wife, and making sure that they have the best life ever.
Yeah.
So being in a position where you're vulnerable, where you can't do it, dude, it kills you.
Especially when we just got engaged. Now there's no funds to get married. So yeah, it's killing me mentally.
I got you. So Chris, that Lon and I, dude, we didn't have a big wedding because we're like, why do people even go and spend all this money on wedding, man? And then after the wedding, all they worry about is paying off all these bills and all that, dude.
Right.
Why don't we just make Lon and I, dude, we just went to the courthouse, signed a piece of paper, boom, dude. And then we save a bunch of money on, going through the wedding, the setup, dude, months of preparations, wasting all that time. We took that money, we just invested.
Absolutely. That's what me and my fiance are planning on doing, but our waiting list at the courthouse is 6 months long. Sure. So we got a little bit of time to wait. But in the meantime, man, I don't want another job, man. I want a life-changing career. And when I learned about this, I was kicking myself. I was, where the hell was this literally 6 months ago, man? I could have definitely pursued it, and oh my goodness, the changes and that would have happened in our life, man. We wouldn't be in a mountain of debt right now.
Yeah, dude. I mean, sometimes, I believe that the information just comes when the time is right. Maybe 6-8 months ago, even if you discover wholesaling, but you're like, hey, you know what? I'm working at FedEx. I'm good. I don't need this. Sometimes, dude, people are so comfortable that even if they see some new information or new knowledge, right? Mm-hmm. They are not willing to go to do the work and do the research and go the extra miles. Sometimes you have to be pushed against the wall to be like, yep, you know what? I got no choices but to make this one thing work. So hopefully, bro, Chris, I look forward to seeing you closing your first wholesale deal. I look forward to seeing you in the Wholesale to Million Academy, man. Take care, bro.
Thanks, you too, man.
I appreciate you. You guys, that's all the time I have. I appreciate Chris jumping on. I appreciate each and every single one of you here. And if you have any questions, drop in the chat. And before I go, I know a lot of you, if you're new into the game, here's a free training. If you don't grab the book, dude, here's a free training. WTMclass.com. It's a 15-minute video where I just break down the steps, the setups, how to get started, and hopefully that will help you close your first deal. If not, I know this book will. Until next time, you guys, take care, and let's go get this money. Had a good time.